Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Owen Daniels was off to a rip-roaring pace last season, but halfway through the year he suffered a torn ACL and the rest of his season was a wash. This was a very sad thing, as Owen was having his numbers at that time were over 500 yards receiving, 40 receptions, and 5 touchdowns with a 13-yard per catch average. If you put a full season together, he was on pace for 80 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Those numbers are comparable to Antonio Gates and Vernon Davis, which would have made Owen Daniels one of the top flight tight ends to have last season, as he was one of the top flight tight ends to have for the first half of the season. If Daniels hadn't had that injury, we could safely say he would be probably a top 3, top 4 fantasy tight end. Instead, we've got him somewhere around the 7th, 8th best tight end for you to take this season because of the torn ACL, and he's going to have to bounce back from that. Right now in May, June time, we're in OTAs. Owen's not going to participate in any practices. He's going to wait until training camp in July before he gets on the field, but the progress is good. Ownership is happy with the way that he's rehabbed his injury, and everything's on pace. There's been no major setbacks of any kind with the knee, and that's always something that you like to see, a good response off of the knee. To see that situation taking place is a good sign that Owen will probably be ready to roll and be a good productive receiver. You know, with the torn ACL, it's a very, again, unfortunate injury because it really takes you till maybe your second season back from that injury when you're at full strength. I do expect him to be productive this year because he's in a fabulous offense for passing the ball. I mean, remember, Matt Schaub threw for about, almost 4,800 yards and around 30 touchdowns last year, and the light really went on for him as he put a full season together, staying healthy and everything. So I would fully expect that, him and Owen, they really have a good chemistry now. In 2008, we saw Owen, he was a Pro Bowler. He had 70 receptions, 862 yards, but he only had 2 touchdowns. And so what was really nice to see was not only was he could catch the ball, he could get the yards. We knew that. Even the season before in 2007, he had 768 yards receiving. But even that year, he only had 3 touchdowns. To see him take that next step in touchdowns, and he was again doing that in 2009. Up for this season, I would expect Owen to probably, I'm going to say that he's going to go out and get, 6-7 touchdowns this year. Looks like that, with Schaub maturing and he's getting better as a tight end, I think that he's becoming a target that's more viable when they start getting in 20-yard line and around the 30-yard line in. They start looking for him more. Him and Andre Johnson really are their 2 touchdown makers in that offense. So look for Daniels to put up, maybe somewhere around 800 yards, I think 6-7 touchdowns, and that is a very respectable season for any tight end. And then I think, as we get into the 2011 season, then I think we start to look at Owen Daniels starting to be back to his type of production, maybe again that he was at in 2009.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy